So very high level gold, and that's wrapped around his waist. Okay, now, his body was like topaz. Now, Walvoord describes this stone as follows, and I'm going to use his work on this. The appearance of the body is a jewel called beryl. That's the King James Version. It's from the Hebrew Tarshish. Remember Saul of Tarshish? Is translated crystallite in the Septuagint, or the Greek version of the Old Testament, as considered by Driver as topaz. So it's got all these different people trying to discover what it is. He states the topaz of the moderns, a flashing stone described by Pliny. And you remember who Pliny was? He was a Greek historian. And as a transparent stone with a, no, he was a Roman historian, sorry. A transparent stone with a refulgence like that of gold. So picture this body is see-through, but it's got a golden hue to it. That's what I get from this. Is that what you get from that? And the same stone is mentioned in Exodus 28 and 20. It's mentioned in Ezekiel 1 and 16, 10 and 9. You can go chase those verses down. It is called Tarshish, as if it originated in Spain. So you've got gold from India. You got this. These is exotic things. Porteous identifies it as yellow jasper. The impression given to Daniel was that the entire body of the man in the vision was like a gigantic transparent jewel reflecting the glory of the rest of the vision. Oh my goodness. Do you hear? There is no shadow in him. He's light. He is the effulgence. He is the radiance of God's glory. Why would there be any solidness there? It's the glory of God. This is not an angel. This is somebody higher than the angels. His face was like lightning. No wonder. That would be pretty hard to paint, wouldn't it, Gail? Like a face like lightning. How do you find the features when he got lightning flying out of them? His eyes were like flaming torches. And the sounds as he spoke, as though it sounds that Daniel's ability to describe only what he could, like it's kind of like John. They're trying to use things that we understand to try and describe something that's supernatural. In other words, it looked like lightning. I don't know what else to say. It looked like flaming torches, but I don't know what else to say. He wasn't seeing lightning and flaming torches. He was seeing bright, bright, bright light. Right? Don't literalize it. He's trying his best to give you words that we understand, but this was beyond description because God is beyond description. So in Revelation, I just want to compare it. Why am I saying this was a pre-incarnate theophany or a pre-incarnate vision of Jesus like Melchizedek? Well, let's look at what John saw when Jesus came to him and revealed himself in the other apocalyptic literature. And when I turned, I saw 7 golden lampstands, and among them lampstands someone like the Son of Man, dressed in a robe reaching down to his feet with a golden sash around his chest. See, it's moved up. Hallelujah. He is no longer the suffering servant. He is now royal King of kings with exousia power. With authority he comes now. Hallelujah. Dressed, his head was white, like wool, as white as snow. His eyes were like blazing fire. Where'd you hear that before? His feet were like bronze glowing in a furnace. His voice was like the sound of rushing waters. In his right hand he held 7 stars, and coming out of his mouth a sharp double-edged sword. His face was like the sun shining in all its brilliance. Sounds like the same person to me. Almost identical description of the bronze and the face and the robe and the sash, everything. So here's what I want to say to you. So, no, let me just continue. So Daniel says, then I was left alone, gazing at this great vision. So let's just do this time thing. It could have happened in 5 seconds, right? They're all standing there, and suddenly the vision happens. They all take off. He falls down, and then shaking. Oh, I just bit the microphone. But my teeth are all in place. I always thought I'd lose that one playing hockey, not speaking. Anyway, he looks up and he sees this vision. He hears these words, probably happened very, very rapidly, and then he realizes, oh my goodness, I'm alone with this person. That would be scary, right? All of a sudden, he's in the presence of this being, and he says, gazing at the great vision, I had no strength left. My face turned death. No, you tell me what this sounds like. I had no strength left. My face turned deathly pale. I was helpless. That's a faint, isn't it? Have you ever seen somebody low blood pressure or whatever, and they just drain white, and then they face plant? Then I heard him speaking, and as I listened to him, I fell into a deep sleep, and my face to the ground. I think he face planted as he was listening to this. Yeah, he fell into a deep sleep on his face. So from a standing position. So Daniel is so affected by the vision that he becomes weak and blood drains from his face and he's paralyzed. And when the man began to speak, he falls down on his face in a deep sleep. I think I repeated myself there. In other words, Daniel's completely overwhelmed by his experience with this person in the vision. And this has to be none other than the pre-incarnate visit of Christ. And here's what I want to say. This ties Daniel's apocalyptic experience directly together with John. Because you have, how can a mortal, sinful man even come close to the glory of the Lord? But here is Daniel before the coming of Jesus, seeing Jesus in the servant-like position, all the same except he's got the golden sash around his waist. And then John sees him as the glorified Christ with the sash around here. Isn't that beautiful? I think it's so beautiful. And how it ties Daniel and Revelation together. That's why some of you had said, let's study the book of Revelation. And I said, no, we can't study the book of Revelation until we study the key book to it, the key that opens the book of Revelation. And that's Daniel. Because they're tied together. It's 8 o'clock. Well, I didn't finish tonight. But we did pretty good. Did pretty good. So we'll pick up in Exodus next when we see other people with vision. But